Now, you used to be on the music label, correct?
That's correct.
And how long were you on the label?
I was on the face for about maybe 7, 8 years. Then I went to Jive Records, and that was about maybe 5 years.
Okay, so now you're independent.
Totally independent, man.
Now, one thing that I promote, on my platform, especially with the brothers, and the sisters too, is that we need to do things ourselves and be on our own. Tell me the difference of being independent versus being on the label.
Well, I mean, I get to make all the decisions. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the great things about being, on my own. Well, one of the other things is, I got to spend all the money. So all the money is coming from me. So I got to be really strategic about how I spend my money, because at the end of the day, it is an investment, but I'm investing in myself. So it's a beautiful thing. I feel like I have what it takes. I have the music. I have, the skills to do the music and sing and all that stuff like that. So why not take on the other responsibilities?
Well, the thing I've always said is that when I look at the music industry, and especially, R&B, something that black people created, right? And what angers me is that you have people who don't look like us owning and controlling black talent, making all the money and literally owning black people's likeness, owning their masters. They can't make none of the money. And then when black people try to get their masters, a lot of times craziness happens or something mysterious happens to the artist, so how do as you being independent now, and you see it from that aspect, how do you feel about that? Because for me, it bothers me. I'm not a musician, but it bothers me to see other groups of people owning black talent and black people not even owning their own talent.
Well, I mean, I feel the same way you do. It does bother me a bit because, by me being a songwriter, producer, and a singer, I'm pretty much doing all the work. The only thing that I've ever really needed a record company for. Well, let me get this right. I did need them in the beginning because I didn't have a fan base. Nobody knew who Donnell Jones was. So they did help me in that sense. But for them to loan me some money and take back so much that they didn't create the music, they didn't do any of those things, I think it's kind of crazy. So, and moving forward, I'm able to do those things now because, I'm a one-man show. So, I mean, I have an awesome team behind me, but, I don't see why we can't do it on our own these days.
And you see a lot of these, young artists coming up. I'm pretty sure you see them, and they want to go. A lot of them want to be on labels, and I know you probably see like what are they doing? Just for all some of the talent that they have. But what would you say to maybe a young artist like right now that could be watching and even thinking about that? Should they be on a label or should they do independent like you?
I would say, man, try your best to stay on your own. I mean, today you can gather your fan base. You can talk to them directly. Why not own your own stuff? You know what I'm saying? Why put a middleman in between you and your fans? You can do the whole thing yourself. It just makes sense these days.
Yeah, now let me ask you a question about today with R&B. It to me, when I look at the music industry, I remember, when you were out, and many others, in the 90s, 2000s, etc., and you always had R&B music being released along with, hip hop records. Now it seems like they have literally just X'd out R&B in the mainstream. And it's literally like R&B has went underground, and you have, the mumble rappers and everybody else is out now. Like, what happened to R&B music, and how did the industry just kind of silence it to a point where you have to really go looking for it?
Well, I mean, I really think that was part of a bigger agenda to kind of dumb down the music. And it's what the kids are feeding each other these days. I think what we did for the music industry was we sung about love. You know what I'm saying? We sung about relationships. We sung about things that people go through. You don't really hear that much these days, but I really feel like it's coming back. I feel like, people like myself, there's so many artists out here that are coming back out. Jagged Edge, you got RL from Next, you got Carl Thomas about to come back. So, I mean, there's a lot of artists out here that's going to come back and represent what R&B should be. I'm not knocking the young cats because I feel like, this is their time, and, do what you do. But I do feel like there's a lane that's missing, and that's what we do, and it's wide open.
But they have a lot of young cats that's doing R&B too, and like they not even getting the shine. And when I find out about them, I say, man, I didn't know they put out this, this EP or who this artist is, and it's like, why aren't nobody knowing about it? Like, I'm not knocking no rapper now. I'm not knocking Megan or Cardi or the Baby or none of them. But I'm saying is there are other kids that got talent that can sing their face off.
Yeah, it's a lot of them out here, man. I mean, and again, you know, with social media, you know, you can be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like you just have to really, really get out here and push your product.